Download, subscribe, and listen to Whiskey Hill Podcast. We're the new show that doesn't hold back on today's ridiculousness. We're not on the right and we're not on the left. We call it the way we see it, and we're going to make you laugh while doing it. Throw in some great craft beer and you cannot lose. Download Whiskey Hill Podcast anywhere you enjoy listening, and check out whiskeyhillpod.com for more.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Mike.
I'm Tabby.
And we're the Grace Taproom Podcast.
We are a comedy podcast that discusses pop culture. We talk movies, TV shows, music, sci-fi, horror, just to name a few things.
Be sure to visit our link tree at linktr.ee/Grace Taproom Podcast 2. There you can find all of our listening platforms, our socials, and our merch store.
And if you can't get enough of our regular show, then go subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Grace Taproom Pod. There you can choose one of our 4 monthly tiers, $1, $3, $5, and $10.
We hope you enjoy this episode. Yep, the one you're listening to right now.
Remember, don't text and drive, don't drink and drive, and always drink responsibly.
You heard her. Do it.
Taproom closed.
What's going on, Salty Hippo Nation? It's your boy, the head advocate of the Big Titty Committee of 69 Whiskey.
Did somebody say titties?
And the undercover brother of the Bro Migos podcast, Matt here. And it's time for my boys, B-Word and the Hater, to help you get sanitized. This is the Bleach Brothers Podcast.
Welcome into the Bleach Brothers Podcast. This is B-Word, and as usual, I am here with my good buddy, Jake the Hater. Jake is filling his mouth full of frozen Thin Mints right now, and
Meaning cookies. I like cookies.
I have a problem because I don't like mint. I am not a fan of
I don't
mint.
like mint either. Until I had Thin Mints, it's the only mint candy that I like.
See, I like the mints that they give you at the restaurant, like afterward. Not the hard candies, but like the chocolate covered mint breath clearer palate taster thing or whatever. But I don't like mint. I don't like mint ice cream. I don't like anything.
There's one mint restaurants give out that I love, and I don't know how to describe them, but they're like a ball and they're chalky.
Oh,
and when you bite into them, it's like the soft chalk.
Yeah,
it's like the most texturally pleasing ball that you can have in your mouth.
We've got a restaurant here locally that does that. They got a big old bowl full of those things, dude. It's actually pretty cool. Next time you come here, I'll take you there because they actually don't have that bad of food either. Really good on the barbecue side. But so anyway, we were to have a guest this week, and due to personal reasons, our guest couldn't make it.
They pushed out because personal reasons.
And I know that they're
pushed out.
I know that they're going to listen to it. So fuck off.
They pushed out.
We'll have your simple ass on another time, and we'll go from there. But so we don't have a rundown again, which is interesting. But the last episode that we had without a rundown turned out pretty good. So I figured, why not? Why can't this one go good?
It reminds me of the old days, though. B-word, like when people say the good old days, like when Bleach Bros started, we used to. I mean, we always wrote a rundown or had an idea, but there were times we just talked. And I like talking.
Yeah. And
I like talking to you.
I haven't really talked with you all week, just not in preparation for this, but that's just the way it's been. And actually, since I started my new job, I don't talk with you all that much at all, it seems. Because I go to work earlier, and you call me and Gnome, and you tell us how much we work and how we shouldn't work when you're calling us.
I have a shower phone, though. Remember? I have a shower phone. I have a phone in my shower that I call people from, and I don't think it's a problem. But my boss today, this is not a joke, he was like, I don't like it when you answer that or call me on that. I was like, why? I'm getting job done. He goes, I know you're efficient. He goes, I don't need you to be that efficient.
So he must not be your good buddy because you probably wouldn't call him pooping. Like you would probably call him pooping. Like I'm not going to discount you for that, but he's not somebody who would receive the poop call knowingly.
No. I'm an answerer poop. like if I'm pooping, I would answer his call. But I call everybody in the shower. I have no fear of the shower. Like I don't see the problem. Unless it's like muffled and you can't hear me, that's the problem. Other than that, I'm just naked and wet.
It is echoey.
What's the problem with society?
It is echoey when you call me from the shower. And it actually reminds me of the other night when you called Gnome and I and you put us on three-way and we literally couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
We heard like every 10th word. And Gnome and I are just laughing the entire time because we can't hear you at all. And the only words that we're picking out are fuck and dick. And there was nothing else that we could hear. There wasn't and, there wasn't the, there wasn't but. There was no other words. All we got was fuck and dick. And I feel like you just yelled fucking dick out over and over and over. And not even a suck my, just fuck dick over and over and over for us to hear.
I thought I was going to have an aneurysm, right? Is that the word?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have an aneurysm. I looked like an old lady driving a Prius. I was leaned over the steering wheel, like yelling. That's how much I was getting into it. I was like yelling at it, so mad, driving because I thought you guys were fucking with me. I thought you were pranking me. B-word. I was like yelling, going, these two motherfuckers are doing this on purpose to make me angry, and so I just kept yelling, "Fucking dick." Until
that's funny because that's all we heard.
The problem was I didn't. The problem here, my stupid brain, I didn't realize that I was yelling only 2 words. So eventually, you were only going to hear 2 words.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because Gnome and I did not coordinate that. We didn't try to like prank you or anything. That's literally all we could hear. And I could hear Gnome clear. Gnome could hear me clear. We're talking back and forth, and then all of a sudden we're interrupted by fuck, and then we're interrupted by dick, and. And then some point we just start laughing,
and I'm just thinking like the probability of like me having a word land in order. Mind you, there's no order to that, but like I didn't think that through. I was just so pissed off, and I was just yelling, and then I just hung up. And the best part is when you 3-way call somebody else, it hangs up on both them. Did you guys call each other back after that?
No, there was no reason to. Oh. It was funny. Yeah, we just had a good chuckle out of it. I reached out to our social media today, and without having a rundown, I just wanted to kind of create some dialogue for us. Not that we can't create dialogue because you and I can do that, but I figured why not try to get some of the followers on socials involved. So very first comment we had today on the Ask Bleach Bros Anything post was from the Drinks and Things podcast, who first and foremost I just want to thank because they entered the Salty Hippo Nation. They went ahead and they put out a sticker. You'll see it on our website, or I'm sorry, eventually you'll see it on our website, but it's on all the social media. They put out a photo of Sal the Salty Hippo for us up in Canada, so thank you for that. But their question for us today, and Jake, I'll ask you first, and then I'll answer the question. But what's been your favorite moment in the podcast?
Being able to yell at you with my frustrations as a friend. That's a joke. No, just I don't know. I think the interaction of dialogue we had beyond like just our dialogue, and what I mean by that is like we would talk on the phone, right? And we would say like, "Oh, Denzel Washington's best film is this," and we'd like go back and forth. But the actual entertainment value we put behind things, and to see you grow with that has been awesome. To see you, B-word, as a person, because I'll say this to the fans, you were very nervous when we started the show of how you speak,
yeah, it was,
and how you came across in media, and the growth you have had is tremendous, and it is awesome to see. And I enjoy that you entertain me as well with your answer. Not that you didn't before, but there's a difference. Like when you're at a bar or you're hanging out and you're on the phone and you're talking to a friend, you ask a question, you get an answer, you talk back and forth. You do it in a way now where I'm entertained by your answer and I want to listen as well as the audience. And that is a cool moment to have between us, I could say.
Well, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I think the most favorite moment. So I think you and I, we say this over and over and over, but it's true. We've known each other forever, but I'm never surprised at the story that comes from you. And I think the favorite moment on the podcast was the moment I feel like we started to turn the corner in the podcast was where I found out that you fucked a duck. And that to me was
Didn't
the
fuck it up. I didn't
funniest
fuck it
story
up.
that I've ever
jerked it
heard
off.
from you, I think. And I knew nothing about it. I was completely caught off guard. If you're listening to this episode right now, go back and check out I think it's Loki masturbates ducks at night is the episode. But yeah, Jake's story about ducks is classic, and my reaction was pure. I think that was one of the funniest times. But you know what, man? I don't know that there's a defining moment that I can choose from this podcast. I think there's certain things behind the scenes that I think are my favorite. For instance, when we came up with the idea to do our Super Bowl episode, and the purpose of doing the Super Bowl episode, the way that the Super Bowl episode was produced, the way that it all came down, and then the final product, just as much work as we did with that, and then growing on it in year 2, and we'll do it again in year 3. I think that project in and of itself is huge, and the editing on that is huge. But the way that we did it, the way that we were able to cooperate with our guests, the way that we were able to attract guests to it, and the content that we were able to put out, and I say we, including the guests that were on the show, that's one of the, I think that's probably one of the most scripted, if you will, episodes that I've had the privilege to be a part of. And I say scripted, not that we're saying anything scripted, but there is an order of how things go in that show. And for you, I know, and I don't know if I've said this on air, but for you, you've been in sports radio. And for me, yeah, I wanted to prove doubters wrong, because I felt like there were some doubters about you on radio, and I wanted to prove them wrong with that episode. And dude, I'm going to be honest, man, those are some of my favorites, not only to do, but to edit, to put out, to publish. And I feel like it's just high quality.
They're great until I pick the Texans to win.
Yeah.
Part of the AFC, and I'm a target. I will say this. The cool part is you put up a question for our fans. And the funny thing is the interaction we get with fans are different. Like, because you run most of social media, we'll admit that. But most of the fans on my end privately message me. Mind you, it's probably because it's way too like I'm an inappropriate man. Like, let's just be honest. But I wanted. So I have a few questions as well that I'm going to ask throughout the show from fans that sent me some today. But there's one that needs a story beforehand, and this is a fan of ours named Aaron Carr, and he sent, and I sent you this message.
Yeah.
And he sent this message about a dream, and he said, "Yo, I just had a dream about you and B Word. You started your own movie production, and there were totally B-rated movies, but super funny. And B-Word lost a shitload of weight, like Kevin Smith. And me and you picked him up all the time and rocked him like a baby." Because that's the last time anyone could pick it up. I just wanted to share that with you. Now, mind you, then after, there was a response after that. So today he goes, "What's the best dream you've had about your co-host?" So I want to give mine, but I wanted to hear yours first. What's the best dream you've had about me, B-Word?
Shit, dude, that's a great question. I don't know. Oftentimes, see, when I dream about you, you're completely different in my dreams than I think you are in person. And what I mean by that is that in person, it's funny. The dynamic between us is we're oil and water a lot of times, personality wise. And what I mean by that is that you tend to take one personality and I'll take the other, but then I'll take the other personality and then you go opposite of me. It's just kind of the dynamic between us. But in my dream, you're more of a support, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but you're more of a supportive individual, because you're normally like a side character. You're like a non-playable character. You're an NPC in my dream, and you're just there to support me. But you've got the little text bubbles above you, like, "You've got this, B-Word. Go get it. Ding." And then that's just kind of how it is.
That sounds so lame.
Yeah, it is lame, but that's I can't think of any other time that you've been in my dream other than like a side character on a quest.
When you started talking and you said, I thought you were going to say I was always naked in your dreams.
Well,
and I was like, because here's the problem. You're always in mine. But the difference is, B-Word, you have different variations of nakedness. And what I mean, there's sometimes you're in a Speedo, but I don't know you're in a Speedo. Like, there's parts of your body covering the Speedo. And then when I lift, I'm going to be honest here. I don't know why I'm lifting parts of your body in my dreams. I don't know.
You're
if
trying
I'm
to prove me
checking for
wrong,
something,
Jake.
or looking for a key, or like I'm playing Saw and like, do you want to know a challenge? Play the game. B words butthole. Like, I don't know, but like you're naked in all my dreams, B word. But there was one that I'll never forget, and it was a Shrek and donkey dream. And what I mean by that is you were my donkey, and you were a naked flying man. And I treated you like the magic carpet in Aladdin, and I just rode your back. There's no good way to put this, but I rode your back all over the world. I just stood on you with your giant
Jesus
big and fat ass flying around
Christ,
the planet. And I loved every minute of it because I'd be like, hey, let's go to Africa. And like, we're going to Africa. And then I'd jump on your ass and you fly us there. And we got there, and I was so happy.
It would have been better if I was singing the song from Aladdin, like, I can show you the world.
Oh, God. You know what I wish? If you actually did, you would be spinning, like barrel rolling with my, like, remember, like those guys that do the log and they run on the log?
Yeah.
Like, you're just rolling, like
so
barrel rolling
funny.
the whole way, singing that, and I'm just running on you.
And I just cut in and out like our phone call the other night. Like, I can do the world.
Fuck! Dick! Fuck!
That's funny. So also the Level Infinite show. I don't know that we've had any interaction with the Level Infinite show, but thank you for your comment. It says, and I don't think that they've listened to us, so just in all fairness, but I'll answer their question. I'll answer it first this time around, and then you can answer it after. But the question is, do you ever listen to rap? And if so, who is your favorite artist? I struggle.
We know you only like white rappers.
Right. I struggle with who's my favorite artist. So. Yeah, they haven't listened. I struggle with who's my favorite artist because candidly, it doesn't change, but it's like I've got a top 5 and they're all from Caucasus. But on a real note, like some people say that Tupac's the greatest rapper alive, or Jay-Z or Nas or somebody like that. I really think that M probably is the best rapper alive. However,
rapper, yeah.
I don't know that he's the best like performer. Like if we're talking about rapper and you incorporate things like battle rapper and all that sort of stuff, I think, yeah, Eminem's probably the best. I think for me, the most entertaining rapper is probably Biggie. I think if we're going to choose between Biggie and Tupac, I like Biggie a lot more than Tupac. But there's some good rappers that are out there. I mean, I think if you're going to go with a top 5, you probably have to have Jay-Z. You got to go with Eminem. I would actually probably, and we've done top 5 before, so I could be entirely different from what it was, but I'd say Tech Nine's probably on my list right now because I'm listening to a lot more stuff of his. K-Dot and Snoop, I think, would probably round it out for right now. That's subject to change, but that's where I'm at right now. So what about you?
Lizzo.
Throw me my
no. Anybody that listens knows my favorite rapper of all time is DMX. Do I think re-listening to our own episode? Okay, I'll admit this. I listen to our own shit because I want to hear how stupid I am at times. Is he the greatest rapper of all time? Hell no. Tupac is probably number 1 for me all time. I think lyrically, growing up with it, like just everything about it is there. I'm not going to do a top 5. I'll just say him. For me though, favorite is DMX.
Yeah, your favorite is for sure DMX. We've got the 69 Whiskey podcast, and here's a scenario. You're going 1-1 against prime Mike Tyson. Which of you, being you and I, thinks they can last longer in the ring?
Sexually or fighting?
The quote or the notice below,
because I'm gonna fuck
says,
him up. I'm gonna fuck him up.
Notice how I didn't say which one of you has a better shot of winning, which means that they think that we couldn't take on prime Mike Tyson. And guess what, dudes? You're right. I couldn't take on prime Mike Tyson. So which one of us would see? I think it would be me too. And that's not a shot at you. I just think I'm better at taking punches. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You're better at taking it. Here's the other problem though. The press conferences, I'm selling out.
For sure.
I am going full bore.
You're like a Down syndrome Jake Paul at that press conference.
Right. I'm going to piss him off so bad that he's going to kill me in the ring. Like you're just going to be like, I'm here for a charity paycheck.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm the Tia, and me, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck your mother, Mike. and
hey,
then
Mike,
he's gonna kill me.
Fuck my dick, Mike. Fuck my dick.
Right, exactly. Like, can you imagine? Like the fight for me is outside the ring on the mic. Like that's not on the mic, but you know what I mean. The pun intended. Like I'm gonna fight him outside the ring and then die inside of it. So I think you can take more punches than me. Now, I'll ask you this: if we fought Mike Tyson, right, Prime? Do you think he's giving you body shots more or face shots?
Dude, I hope it's body shots. Like, let me flat out say,
Really?
like, if I have a preference, I want body shots. Dude, I got padding.
But do you think you can take it? Like, what is that?
Well, I'm not going to die from it. Like, that's the big part. Like, if Mike Tyson is straight up punching me over and over again in the head, I don't think I'm going to have a shot.
You don't think he can punch through that?
Look, dude, I'm not saying he can or he can't. I'm just saying I have a better shot.
Does Mike Tyson have a? All right, let's put it this way: Mike Tyson have a better shot fighting a walrus or a gazelle? Because I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you know this, people. You're the walrus in this scenario.
Yeah, I think that Mike Tyson would, like, if he punches a gazelle, I think the gazelle's done.
Right, I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
the walrus last. So I think you're right. I think you have sound on this theory. Question from one of our fans, Aaron, Flights by Night. What it's a two-parter. What is the best drink you've ever had with your co-host, and what is the best story you've had over drinks?
Well, so I happened to have a whole bunch of tequila prior to meeting up with you one night, and then somehow it switched to Jaeger bombs. I don't know if that was a you or a me. I wouldn't say that those were the greatest drinks because those ended up everywhere. And I ended up being kicked out of the bar, and that was fun. I would say, honestly, I have two really, and they both involve shit beer. Like, I have two really good memories drinking with you. Number one, three, I guess, your bachelor party, but I'm not going to talk about that. Number one was after I got kicked out of the Ghost Bar. And we were at that one bar with Q when he was buying all the drinks. We were drinking like Coors Light or something. I mean, it was just shit beer. But that was just a really fun time.
Those are different nights. The Ghost Bar was one night. Q
no. Yeah, it was a separate night. It was two nights after, the night after, or whatever, that we went to that bar with Q. And I just remember that Q guy, he was just legit. Like, I don't remember anything about him other than his name was Q, and he was picking up drinks the whole night. And he was a good dude. But that was cool because it wasn't like we were trying to get drunk. Like, we were just there in the moment trying to have a conversation and just doing the thing. The other time, very similar, actually involves the travesty. It was your mom's wedding in Pahrump, where we were actually at some biker bar. I don't remember where the biker bar was.
I got a blowjob on out the back door during that night.
Fantastic. I don't remember that, but we but I just remember that was a cool night because you were there. I don't remember if Caleb was there or not. I think he may have been overseas. And then your sister was there, I know that. And then, of course, your mom and her husband at the time and whatever. I just remember that was a cool time just because it was celebratory, but also we hadn't seen each other in a minute. I think we hadn't seen each other in like 4 or 5 years. So it was one of those times that we actually like finally caught up and just enjoyed each other.
The beginning of that night was great because we hung out, had a good time. I had a blowjob out back, and then we got in the car with Kermit.
Yeah, we did.
And
you got all wet.
I sat on his, like, all right. There are people in life that, like, you just don't know how situations fucking happen to them. But I remember I get in his car, and he had that bench seat truck, you know, like the old school Toyota, over like just the front seat only. And I'm going to get in with my lady at the time. And he just goes, after I sit down, like after he decides to go, oh, it's really soaking wet in here. And I'm like, how the fuck is half the bench wet? And it's not like it's like you spilled a little bit of something. You spilled a drink, a big gulp, and then you went to pick it up. It's like soaked beyond recognition to where the whole ride there, like I'm soaked in the back of my pants. And then I got kicked out of that party because I decided to call a bro a rope sucker, which I'm going to defend myself on this B word. He was gay. He sucked ropes.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with he puts penis in his mouth. Okay.
He does.
And nickname for penis can be a rope. So when
Yeah.
I was talking shit to him playing beer pong because I was beating him and I kept yelling, "You're a stupid rope sucker," I was not wrong.
Yeah, you were not wrong there. Yeah, it was.
I got kicked out of
The
that
end of
party.
that night sucked. But what's your best memory?
Best drink, I'll say this, was my favorite drink with you was actually on my bachelor party where we were at Deschutes, one of the stops we had, and we ordered the Abyss, that barrel aged, really old. I don't even know. It's like a bourbon.
It was a
dark
barley
ale.
wine, wasn't it? Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, a fucking really good beer. They opened that up. That was probably my favorite drink with you, like taste wise, right? Like best drink we've had. Most memorable night, I was gonna say Q. I have photos of that still in a album, and it was so funny because that was the night. Like that was one of those nights like you can't make up. Like we went to this bar, and we ended up hanging out and having a blast. And then all of a sudden, we were behind the bar pouring our own drinks with this black guy named Q, who was buying the drinks and goes, "You can pour whatever you want for yourself." And the bartender's like, "Yeah, just go ahead." And we have shots of us just pouring shots for ourselves behind the bar, having fun. And like you said, we went there just to have a good time, and we ended up getting shit hammered. But we went there for a few brews, not expecting anything. It wasn't my local spot. It wasn't yours. We've both been there before, and it was like, hey, let's just go have a good time. And it was a fucking blast. It was one of those weird, memorable, out of nowhere stories. The other one is the ghost bar with you. And the only reason is I never realized I could pick up your weight. Like you picked me up in second grade because you decided to fall through a table and then fall on the crosswalk across the street trying to get to the Gold Coast. And I had to convince them to give me a rental wheelchair to get to the room with two security guards. And you smacked her on the ass saying, "I'm the pimp."
Well, no. Well, I probably did that. But I just remember, like, I wouldn't get in the wheelchair. And you're like, dude, you need to get in the wheelchair. You're going to go to jail. And I'm like, fuck this. This is bullshit. I'm not getting in a wheelchair. I'm not a cripple. And you're like, dude, this is not a wheelchair. It's a pimp chair.
It's a
and
pimp
you're
chair.
a pimp. So sit your ass down. And I just remember like grabbing my fucking shirt. I'm like, you're goddamn right. And I sat in that fucking thing, dude. It was, that's a.
You sat down, and I will say the cop was hot. And she walks over and goes, "Yeah, it's a pimp chair." And you smacked her on the ass and went, "Yes, I'm the pimp." And then she says, "Stop it." And we took you to your room. And now, mind you, the rest of that story is I get you to your room and I convinced you that if you left your room, you were going to be arrested.
Yeah, you did.
And I just remember the next day I get a phone call from you going, "Why did you puke in my suitcase?" And I just went, "I did not puke in your suitcase." You went, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Somebody puked in my suitcase, and it wasn't me." I'm like, "No, it was you." And you're like, "Somebody else shit in my bathroom."
Dude,
Like,
there was no shit anywhere.
these
There was puke fucking everywhere, dude. There was puke on the comforter. There was puke on the floor right where I was laying. Like you could tell that I rolled over and just puked on the floor. There was puke in the suitcase. There was puke in the bathtub. You could tell I was trying to take a shower or something. There was puke by the drain. You could tell where I sat on the toilet. There's puke on the floor. Dude, there was puke fucking everywhere. I was so drunk, dude. That was alcohol poisoning for sure. Simple Bobby, who was supposed to be on with us tonight.
Oh, the guest that backed out. What a
he
bitch.
did send us a question. He said, would you rather have a nipple-sized dick or a dick-sized nipple?
Okay, whose dick we talking about?
Well, so I thought about that because I feel like I feel like I'd have to go with. Well, I don't know what I would go with. I think I'm going to go with dick-sized nipples. Now, if I went with your size dick-sized nipples, I would just, I don't know. I feel like I would look like a
floppy elephant
Jar Jar
trunks.
Binks. Yeah, I just have this like.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just look weird. But I don't want a nipple-sized dick. Like, that's my issue.
well, yeah, I don't want a nipple-sized dick. I want dick-sized nipples, but like, yeah, I mean, here's the thing about that. I'm just gonna make them cold all the time.
Yeah,
like I'm just gonna rub ice cubes on my nipples, like
yeah,
or wear
if I
an
could
ice
just
bra
choose
or,
like
you
a
know,
micro penis nipple.
Yeah, like that's the best route. Like now, all right, let me ask you this: like, you know how nipples can excrete milk?
Yes.
Do you think your nipple dicks are always coming? Like you're running right, and your shirt rubs the right way, and all of a sudden you just are coming out of your chest.
I'm going to go ahead and have you take a look at your Instagram here real quick. I realize that the audience can't see this, but I want you to turn your mic on because you just muted it. I want you to watch the last video that I sent you on Instagram and give me a real reaction to this.
This is terrible. All right. There's nipple cum. Oh my God.
Isn't that
I
the
love
best?
this. I can't stop watching it. That beautiful black man spraying milk all over the mirror. Oh my God. That makes me so happy.
Right? You got another question from the audience, or are you expired on that?
I will, not like the milk, but let's take a break and we'll come back because I have a few more from the audience.
Hey guys, this is B Word here at the Bleach Brothers Podcast. Just a friendly reminder that we are sponsored by Jerky Pro. And if you are a fan of jerky, make sure to go to www.jerky.pro. Use code BleachBros5 at checkout to get yourself a little bit of a discount. Both Jake and I are huge fans of jerky, and Jake working in the beef industry and me being just a fellow fat kid, we absolutely swear by Jerky Pro. You will not miss out by ordering Jerky Pro. Do not let some of the sticker shock you. There are free shipping options, multiple flavors, etc., so forth. If you do order Jerky Pro, make sure to use code BleachBros5 at checkout.
What's up, everyone? It's Mitch from the Two Guys in a Dark podcast, and I am joined by Bobby, the only guy I know who thinks about chili dogs while he's hanging out at your mom's house.
You damn right. And speaking of things I like to do on Sundays, nothing beats a brand new episode of Two Guys in the Dark.
Oh, tell me more, Daddy.
We sit down, discuss life, pop culture, entertainment, and much, much more.
So join us weekly as we take to the open road with a turkey burger and some cabbage rolls, right here on the Two Guys in a Dark podcast.
Welcome back into the Bleach Brothers podcast. Jake here. B-Word's here as well. Fun night. Anonymous question. Somebody did not want me to mention them on here, so I won't. But if we were to have sex, how are we? I mean, that's enough of a question, but how are we doing it? Who's in charge here?
Hi, Robert the Bear.
No, I wish it was. The best part is, if he said anonymous, I said, fuck you, boo-boo. Come on, Yogi. But no, I really got an anonymous question. So, well, I know who it is, but they won't let me say it. We're fucking B-Word.
Okay. All right. So here's how we're fucking.
I want to know the story behind why we fucked first. Why would we fuck?
No, we don't need to go down that storyline. The storyline was that somebody is going to die, and the only way to save them is by me fucking you in the ass. And here's the problem with that, dude, because I
don't like this story.
This is the moment that I would know that you're gay. Okay, now I'm totally accepting of the gay community, and there's no issue with that. But this is the moment that I would realize that you're gay and also know that you enjoy it. So I would have to fuck you in the ass, and I'd give you a reach around, and I would find out that you're gay because you're hard.
I'll admit this. I'm going to say this on the show live. If somebody fucked me, I'd probably get hard somehow. There's a pleasure button down there, right? Isn't there something that makes you hard, in your asshole? Isn't there something in there? Do you agree? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, but
yeah.
I can't
So I'm guessing you're big enough to at least hit that. I'm going to give you that, B-Word. You're big enough to hit my prostate, right?
I think just for the whole I don't want to hurt you in the spirit of non-violence, I would have to be on top, because if you were fucking me, I would be destroyed.
I want to destroy you.
I would just be destroyed.
I'm treating your asshole like the fucking Death Star. You're all right. Remember episode 4, the Death Star, right? And then remember Return of the Jedi when the Death Star looks fucked up, halfway built.
That would be me.
That's the remnants of your asshole. No,
So-
here's the thing. I'm gonna admit, I want you fucking me. I want you fucking me because I'm here to save mankind, and I'm a cuddler.
Fantastic. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, the Gray's Taproom podcast has.
Hold on, no, we're not moving on. Hold on, shut up. Where are you coming?
I'm not. That's so gross.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because the best part is now
So
you're thinking
gross.
about it.
I'm not doing anything of the sort.
You already fucked me. It's your fault.
Look, dude, I might stick a toe in the water, but that does not mean that I have to swim. Like, I'm not doing this.
So you don't come when you stick your toe in the water.
Not in you, bro.
This makes me so happy.
Not in you. So going back to the Gray's Taproom podcast, because this lines up well. The Gray's Taproom podcast shared a GIF of I think he's an African journalist or something, but he goes,
"Why are you gay?"
And so the only reason why I would be gay is if my life depended on it, and or somebody else that I care about's life depended on it. And then there we go. But the question for you, Jacob,
why are you gay?
Because you won't come. You know what I love too? Is you're an idiot. You try to take drinks in between us talking, and I always have shit coming out of my mouth. And you always go, fuck! And you have to set your drink back down because you don't know what's going to happen.
I don't.
My favorite thing is I send that to my brother all the time. Like me and my brother, that's our inside joke, is that, why are you gay? You take the papaya up your butt. Have you watched that whole video?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Question from
you
the
just
audience.
asked a question as far as why we would have. Oh no, I didn't, because it was why are you gay? Never mind. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I answered it. I answered because you're coming.
I know. It's your turn. Go ahead. I don't like the questions you're bringing to the table.
You brought that question. That was your question, you asshole.
No, that question was
You just
fine.
asked that one.
Your question was, would you
It
come
was
at
not.
me?
I didn't ask that.
Yes, you
from
did.
The audience, and I continued their question. There's a difference. I continued the story that they led us on, like Baldur's Gate. I was like, all right, balls. There's a gate. There's some balls. P-word, let's talk balls. That's how my brain works. Like you know those people that you look at going, how do they make it through life? Like,
I'm almost wondering that myself.
I know. That's because I'm your co-host. All right, from Ben. Good fan. Good friend. If you could be a superhero in a universe, which one are you choosing and why?
That's a great question. I think I'm going to go Homelander and the Boys, but I want Homelander and the Boys from the Amazon television show. I don't want to actually be like Homelander from the comics.
You almost just said homo. You started and you froze. I want to be a home. And I went, he's going to end with O.
See, your internet is doing some shit tonight, my dude. No,
he's a villain. He's a villain.
He did say superhero, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay.
Listen.
I don't know that I want to be super powerful. I don't know that I want to be like an alien or anything like that. I think if given the skills and the opportunity, I think the Punisher would be a cool character.
All mine's about sex. So I'm down to 2. Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four.
What, your dick not big enough?
Yes. I just want to see. I gotta know. But mainly I'm Spider-Man. Because I want to spray my webs on people's faces. Like,
so you're Toby.
Web facial.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You're just
I'm
Toby
Toby.
Maguire. Just shoot.
All day.
Okay.
All day. I'm Toby from Spider-Man 3. That's the Toby I am. Like, I'm going to put dirt in your eye.
Jesus Christ.
The best Toby we've ever gotten.
Last question from the Twitterverse. What's the worst advice you've ever received? Could be podcasting, life, or anything. And that's from the Bromigos podcast.
Put your toe in the pool and you'll come.
Was that advice?
Well, I don't know. It made it seem like that's what you were telling me. What's the worst advice you got, B-Word?
The worst advice I got was if you have a child, get married.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That one was not the greatest. But I will
Who
say,
gave you that? Can I ask?
Yeah, it was. So we were young, and she was trying to be religious, and I was supporting her in that endeavor and trying to be religious myself and everything. And when we're having sex outside of the marriage, and we already have a child outside of the marriage, there was a lot of pressure to become married. And so it was a lot of the leadership in the church that we were in.
Worst advice for me. Work early. Like get a job early and not be like I guess I get like, cause you know this, I had a job really young and it wasn't just, parents' fault, but like I had people like pressuring me to like become an adult really quick.
Right.
And like do things. And it's like, you look back on it going, man, I wish I would have enjoyed more. Not saying I didn't,
right.
You know what I mean? Like I felt like I grew up too fast.
Yeah. That's good advice. Well, that exhausts all the questions on social media. Do you have any other messages from you on your end?
My brother asked one, and he wanted me to say, why is B-Word still doing this show with you?
That's a great fucking question. I wake up every morning and ask myself the exact same question. And then when we have conversations outside of the podcast.
No, you don't. You wake up every Wednesday and say that.
Yeah, that's true. Every Wednesday I say that. I think the thing is, man, is that if we didn't enjoy this, and it sounds stupid when I'm going to say it, but if we didn't enjoy this, I wouldn't be doing it. Like, we have fun. We actually laugh. We dedicate some time back and forth to joke around with each other, to get to know each other better, to have conversations. And I think there's the side part of it that, the podcast pays for itself, which is really nice. I think after a while, if the podcast didn't pay for itself, that might get a little taxing or whatever. But, I think overall, the reason why I do it is, number one, I enjoy the conversations that we're having on here. I enjoy the random subjects. If all we talked about was, basketball, or if all we talked about was, Marvel, or if all we talked about was your penis, I don't know that I would want to have that conversation over and over and over, week after week after week. And we switch it up pretty good around here, and we're engaged on trying to get different topics together, but it's not topics to entertain. It's topics for us to discuss. And I just think that that's a cool thing.
That's a good point. I mean, it is fun. I enjoy it. I will say there are things that have changed in the dynamic of our show, like over time, like more business ventures have happened. Like it's more serious. Not saying that we never took it seriously and like tried to make it a legitimate thing, but with growth comes change. And I am a person that fails at that. And you've helped me through that, to be honest, because I'm very, I wouldn't say ritualistic, but like I like things in order and the same way at all times and the same thing. And if I get thrown off barely, like my favorite thing that you do to me sometimes is like if I'm talking like with Hateful Gnome or something, you just jump in with some bullshit, like your AI stupid robot or whatever. And then my brain like goes haywire and I can't finish a thought. And I just sit there and I freeze. Like that's behind the scenes shit that fans don't see, where all of a sudden I'm like, and I really can't. I can't get through that. But it is fun to see because we bring out the best and the worst in each other.
Yeah,
and I say that in the best way possible.
Yeah,
because there are times like you challenge me and I feel like I challenge you, or like and like I said, it doesn't mean challenge. When I say challenge, it doesn't mean it always means you come out better in the end. It's sometimes just there's a fucking moment we need to argue about it. There's a moment like we need to get through this. There's a moment I need to write something, you need to write something. But then there's also times it's like I did not have that thought and I want to talk about it more. And like I'm enjoying doing this top 50 movie thing because there are movies on there that you're naming. I'm going, holy fuck. Like, why didn't I think of that? And so I just enjoy it. I enjoy it like you do.
I'll say the thing that actually surprises me a little bit too, and not that like I'm not trying to give you credit or, give you your flowers when they're due or anything like that. But the thing that just I sit back in awe, kind of, especially when I'm editing the episode, is when we have a guest on. And the thought of having a guest, Jesus Christ, Jake is dancing naked in front of the camera. Fantastic. The thought that when we have a guest on where maybe one of us isn't as engaged as the other, we offset that really fucking well, and it's seamless. Even when we're doing a guest spot, like we've done a couple guest spots together where you absolutely hated the guest spot or I absolutely hated the guest spot, and then we carry it for each other, which is pretty fun. But speaking of guest spots, man, we have a couple guest spots that are coming up. So you recorded with Jake and the Dingus, and that episode's going to come out later this fall. And we've been on Jake and the Dingus before. We had a good episode talking about how we hate tax day on there. You want to highlight that episode at all?
It was interesting because he hit me up and he wanted me to come on to talk about media and the food side, like being a chef and things in my career. And it was funny after we got done recording, he was like, man, that was a great episode. People are always surprised when I have a serious side.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I can't believe that, you know, like at the end, like he said it was awesome and great, but he was expecting more penis jokes, I guess, like, you know, just me being off the walls like I am at times. And because I admit, like, you're a great number one and I know my lot in life. I'm a great number two. And what I mean by that is I am a color commentator a lot. Like you can hold the show together. You can lead it. And it's not that I can't get serious and stuff, but like it was a very good example when we just guested on Bromingos. Like yeah. When Matt was like, Jake, you're very out of pocket. Like I came in with jokes, I did my thing, and you talk about our show and where we can find people or people can find us and shit like that. And that's what you do well. And then I do my own thing over there. Not saying we can't traverse the line and do it back and forth, but it was fun going on there and them seeing that side of me. Cause I think when people book us, they expect, oh, I'm getting Jake the Hater. I'm going to get a lot of dick jokes. I'm going to get that. But if you get me on a topic and it's serious and I really want to talk about it, there's a different side of me that comes out. And that's very well seen when I was on. I had to say it twice, 2 different episodes. There's 2 totally different episodes I'm on. But no, it was a good time. I can't wait for that one to come out.
You already kind of introed it a little bit. Recently, we were on the Bromigos podcast, and when this episode airs, make sure to check Bromigos because we're going to be that episode that comes out next for them. I think that they actually come out on Mondays, if I'm correct. But but yeah, we had a great episode with them. I think that we had a lot of good conversations. I also was on the B Raw podcast recently, and we did the first of 2 guest spots. So I'm not sure the exact date when those are going to come out, but with my other podcast with Unfiltered Discussions, I had Walt from B Raw on there, and we had a good time. You gave me a lot of flowers on that episode. The flowers are for Walt, man. He's funny, and we're going to try to have him on the show on Bleach Bros as well. But I had an opportunity to be on with him, and the conversation, man, he has no script. And what's great about that is that with no script, you get all the stories. And we just talked about strip clubs for the large part of it, but we talked about life. We talked about, a lot of good things, and I'm going to go back on there and finish my second guest spot. I think that those are going to come back to back. So there is that too. And, man, I don't have a problem doing the guest spots. I think that that's something that, it's something that's fun because it does take us outside of our comfort zone a little bit, especially if it's a podcast that we're not familiar with. I think we are a little choosy, if you will, on which podcasts we go on, because we've been on some rough podcasts before, both individually and collectively. And
you've been on more than me that were rough. Tell me.
Oh, no.
I want to know.
No, I'm not going to. I am not going to disparage your podcast community unless it's fucking Game On Don or Ebony, because fuck them. But, I think the big thing is, man, is that going back to your brother's question, I love when we get on a show and next thing you know, like, we've taken over the show. Like, we've done it with a Happy Hour podcast or the Gray's Tap Room podcast now. We've done it with, like I said, Jake and the Dingus, where I think Jake and the Dingus, you and I actually switched roles. I was one of those, I was just like, fuck Tax Day, fuck. I was just Jake the Hater. and you kind of held that down for us. But we have a lot of fun doing it, and we have fun doing it independently. So if you're listening to this and you want one or both of us to be on the show, like, just get in touch with us. We are on the West Coast, so it does make it a little harder. A lot of podcasts are on the East Coast or overseas or whatever. So, there is that. But I do like doing the guest spot thing, and I know that you've had a lot of fun doing it too. The one thing that I do want to talk about, though, with both of us here on the show, I was thinking about it today, and I just kind of want to have a discussion around it. Not that it makes any difference one way or the other, but there's an entire difference between living on the West Coast and living on the East Coast. And
yeah, we like Pepsi.
Well, yeah. Pepsi over Coke, 100%. But I was thinking about it, like, if your family or my family like grew up in Boston, or you were born in Boston or New York or Philadelphia or someplace like that, your life might be entirely, aside from just the geographic location, your life might be an entirely different direction that you're in right now. Meaning that you might not be a chef, you might not do all those sort of things, you may not have met your wife, et cetera, so forth. But quality of life, do you think that there's a difference of quality of life on the West Coast from the East Coast?
No. I think it's quality of sea level. Like, I don't know, B-word. I don't equate that. Like, I guess, and here's the thing, I'm gonna admit this. Like, I've traveled, right, but I haven't been to like Boston and New York and a lot of those places, so I can't really speak to it because I don't know. Like, my wife's from New York, and she tells me about tall buildings and how she's picky about pizza and bagels, but I don't know shit.
Well, so, like, I guess what made me feel think about this. I guess what made me think about this is recently my dad came down with a diagnosis, and so a lot of what he has to do is walk and get healthier and that sort of stuff. And thinking about those big cities like New York, like Boston, like Philadelphia, like whatever, when you're walking everywhere, when you're traveling in that mode where you're not really driving, I do think that there's a little bit of a healthier lifestyle in those areas. We've talked a lot about, being kids, where we would have to ride bicycles 2 miles or so just to see each other. And that way we were the closest friends of the bunch, like distance wise. And to try to see other friends, I mean, we're talking 10, 15 miles that we'd have to trek to try to go over to their house before we drove and everything. So I do think that there's like a little healthier lifestyle. I will say that like Europe has a lot cleaner lifestyle when it comes into eating. I think that they do, there's less preservatives and less, stuff like that. I guess I was just curious about the culture, like what your opinions are of the culture between the West Coast and the East Coast. Because
I think I would have been an Eagles fan, and we would not have been friends. Like, that's
100%. If you were an Eagles fan,
from
we
Boston,
wouldn't be friends.
Fuck you, bro. Fucking Eagles all the way. Fucking Super Bowl. Suck my fucking dick.
That's funny. You sound like Donald Trump right there.
I sound like Donald Trump. I didn't sound like Donald Trump.
No, that was not a compliment. Because on our Patreon, I think it was on our Patreon. You did no, it wasn't on our Patreon. It was it was on our Patreon, because we did an impression. You did the impersonating impersonators.
I love back and forth
with we were going back and forth with celebrities, and I told you Donald Trump, and you sounded just like you were from Boston with Donald Trump. You're like, hot dog.
That's right.
What the fuck is a hot dog?
All right, right now, impersonating impersonators. Impersonate Conan O'Brien.
I can't like vocally do it, but just from a physical aspect, like I'd have to pretend that like I'm
wiggle,
shaking my pompadour.
Just wiggling. That's all he does. He just wiggles.
Yeah, you're just wiggling your hair back and forth.
Out of the late night hosts, which one can you imitate the best?
I can do Jimmy Fallon, because all Jimmy Fallon does is go. That's all he does. He fucking fake laughs. Yes, dude. He laughs at fucking everything.
See, mine is the Jay Leno, like, like he just always, like he just to everything. Like when Jay Leno would do the stand up before he started the show, it'd be like he looked like George Clooney had like a fucking bad like chin operation. And like he got fucked up, and his whole face turned into a pear, like a peanut allergy.
You know what's funny about Jay Leno is that he originally did like the whole physical comedy, kind of like Conan O'Brien, in a sense where Conan O'Brien like does the little shake his head thing, and Jay Leno does it, but not as like not as vulgar, I guess, like not as emphasized. Yeah,
animated.
and he just kind of does he just does a little movement.
He was like,
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Well, with that, dude, let's go ahead and wrap this motherfucker up. So
wrap it up like your penis that you didn't wrap in high school.
yes, and guaranteed, if I fucked you in the ass, I would wrap it up too, because I don't trust what you ate the night before. So with that, my guy,
is it more about
what
what
you
I
got
ate?
for me?
Thanks for
Yes,
all the dirty
yes,
talk.
because
Get sanitized.
no, we're not going to end because now I have to answer that question. There may be a lag in our audio here tonight, Jacob.
No, you
but
don't.
I'm gonna answer
you
that
don't.
question
No,
because
there's a chili in your butt.
Yes, if there was a seed from like a jalapeno or something like that, and you passed it through your rectum and it ended up in my pee-pee hole, I'm not doing that. So yeah, wrap your wieners, and thanks for all the dirty talk, and come back and get sanitized.